Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Preparation Ape, your number one place for the virtual experience. I'm DKP, as always, joined by my partner and co-host,
Hi,
Major Tom.
hello.
Good night, Major Tom. Of course, yes, this is Preparation Ape, which is 15 minutes late today, but any other time, you can see it every week at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time here at twitch.tv/chainsawApe. And, Major Tom, what do we have on the Residox tonight?
Well, you got a new toy in this week.
Yes.
It's
a prostate massager. It's quite nice.
the HTC Vive.
Oh, that, yes.
Yeah. This little thing right here.
Well, I mean, that's not it.
No,
It consists of, 5 parts, actually.
it's like 60 parts. The box had like fucking 1,000 things in it.
Yes.
This guy right here. It's weird, I can't see through it.
You know, people have this weird phobia of, things with, like, holes in it, divots.
Yeah.
And I always feel like that
The
sort of
divots
shit's
are
on
weird,
there.
but they are a defining feature of this headset.
They are.
You see the divots, you know you got the Vive.
They are. Well, the one
What's
thing
up, Uncle?
the one thing I don't know is if those are like for something, like it's easier to like read it from the lasers or whatever, or if it's I don't know. But anyways, yes, tonight's episode is all about, for the most part, all about the Vive.
Thanks.
I got that in on Tuesday.
Yep.
And
No
we
stream
will
on Tuesday. Or on Monday either.
Yeah, Monday we both just felt like absolute dog shit.
Didn't really feel like doing it.
So, it just kind of didn't happen. But, Tuesday, really sorry to have to take 2 days off this week, but Monday we both, I don't know if we were sick or something, but...
I was just not feeling like streaming. Playing video games, talking, I don't know. Sometimes you just don't feel it.
And then Tuesday the Vive came in, and that was what you would call an ordeal.
Yep.
So, yes, let us continue on to our next slide here, and we'll get to discussing this shit.
Apes.
So, Mr. Kurtzen, how you doing?
What's up, baby?
So, yeah, let me talk about the setup first, kind of what this thing comes with. So, the difference specifically with the Vive, as opposed to the Rift, and, some of you guys might already know this, but it comes with what is called, room tracking technology. So, we should have been more prepared and had, like, pictures of the little things, but picture, it's 2 little black boxes, right? And what you need to do is, essentially, on 2 corners of your room, so, let's say here and here, you need to actually drill them into the wall, or if you have a shelf or something, whatever. And essentially what it does is it scans your entire room with lasers. Lasers.
Like in the Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, similar to that. Now, I don't really know how to describe this. I don't know what technology... Basically, what's great about it, because it is laser technology, or infrared, whatever the fuck it might be.
Yeah.
You can do it with the lights off. You don't have to have the whole room lit constantly.
Which is pretty neat.
Yeah, you do that, and then afterwards you take one of these controllers and you trace out, you walk around your room with it, and it basically maps out your exact playing space. The setup after the hardware setup, right, which was screwing them into the wall, connecting them so they sync, which you don't necessarily have to do that either. They can sync, but there's this super fucking long cable that you can use, and I use it anyways. Now that is for we have a pretty small room here. It's I don't know the dimensions, but you could in hypothetically use an entire living room, set them up there, and it would map the entire living room for you.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people out there who are much more fortunate than I am, who have probably double or triple the amount of playing space.
You got a good
sort of thing.
10 square feet. 15 square feet.
What I have is about 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters. So about
I don't speak European metric system.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. But yes, that's about the minimum that you need. Now, of course, it does offer a sitting mode, much like the Rift. So, like I said, with the Rift, it's basically you sit down, you can still look around. It's pretty much like you move the camera with your head. The Vive is the only one in which you can literally walk around now.
Yeah.
Ankit says, "Would you say you need a dedicated room for this?" Not necessarily. No.
Need one? No. Would it be awesome to have one?
Yes.
One of my friends who got one like on launch day about a month or two ago, he just cleared out his guest bedroom. The only thing that's in there is the PC and the Vive. That's it. He just set up the Vive, set up a PC in there, and uses the entire room.
Yeah, I mean,
that would be amazing.
Really, you don't even need a TV in there. Like, you don't need anything.
Yeah.
Which, like, really, that would be kind of optimal. But no, you just need about, like, okay, for example, we have our room here. We have our TVs that direction, and we have this nice table that everything's sitting on here. Of course, our microphone and the camera. Well, when I want to use the Vive, I simply push the table off into one of the corners here that I've kind of carved out. And then open floor space, and that's it. It's pretty simple. Like I said, it's a pain in the ass setting it up right away, but you only have to do it once. It's not something that you're going to be hauling over to a friend's house, that sort of thing.
No, where it's at is where it's at.
Yeah, that being said, once you're done with it, you're done with it. And then it is absolutely fucking incredible. Like, so, my experience with virtual reality technology from its announcement to now was extremely skeptical. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was going to be gimmicky. I said, "Oh God, there's, the whole thing. It's like Wii tech. It's like the Wii, right? Yeah. Motion controls. All these new games are going to start being made for VR, and they're going to suck because they're integrating new technology. Yeah. And I'm not looking fucking forward to that." Went from that
new and exciting way to play.
Yes, I went from that to this is looking kind of cool. To when I got it.
Well, when you found out that porn was available, that you could do pornography, you could look around in a room that porn was happening.
Well, that's when I was really like.
That's when you click the pre-order button.
Yeah, well, okay, I guess I'd buy one. But the difference between that and actually owning it is it's way different. So everyone that one of the most fun parts about this, honestly, is it's more fun to bring people over and show it to them than it is to actually play it.
It's kind of like when you got the Wii for the first time and your like parents come over or whatever and you show them Wii Sports and you hit the tennis rackets and you do the boxing and you do all that and they're like, "Wow, this is really cool and easy to do." That times 1,000,000.
Yeah. So, like you said, it's the immersion of it is leagues and bounds beyond what I thought it was gonna be.
Before we get too far into impressions, I do want to say that it is physically impossible to put in words how really solid VR is. Like, we are going to try our hardest to describe it and sell it and do it justice, but it is impossible. 100%. Yeah. Even if we've even talked about, we're probably going to do some streams of it at some point. It will not look that cool. Like any of the games that you watch other people play or see on the screen, or like when somebody's over here trying it out and we're just sitting there watching them play, not that cool. No. But when you are in that headset, it's a different world.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Like I said, the general impression of everyone that's come over is, they're expecting it to be pretty neat, and then when they actually try it on, like, afterwards, they're like, "Holy fuck, I thought it was going to be cool." Yeah. But I had no fucking idea that it was going to be that, like, immersive. Like, Festus, or Old Fetus, or Mr. Techislade, whichever.
Whatever he's going by that day.
Yes. Thought it was going to be like looking through two little screens. Yeah. Like, no, not at all. And as far as things being 3D, this is where it really changes. So, and this is something that I didn't even know before we had it, was, so like when you have the 3DS and you go from like 2D to 3D, and you can tell the obvious difference.
Yep.
It's kind of like that, except that, like, when you're watching on the screen, like, it's hooked up to the computer so you can see a preview of what they're seeing, but you're just seeing it in like 2D, right? But like I said, within the headset, it is that very great 3D that, in the non-headache forming kind.
Yeah.
That should be noted. So yeah, let's see. Let's hit a couple comments real quick. "I need to come over and try it alone with no one else in the room. Don't want to bring my own lotion." We'll get to that here in a minute, actually. And can the camera wear the headset? Do you mean like camera here? No, unfortunately not.
I mean, it can physically do it, but it won't be effective.
No. So yeah, so as far as the components, the controllers are as such. Basically, there's 2 buttons here on the sides, right? And it comes with 2. And the cool thing about these specifically is these are rendered in, like, whenever you have the headset on, these are always rendered. So, like, it is like 1-to-1 what these are.
Yeah.
And depending on what game, they can be whatever the game wants them to be. So, like, in one game particularly, this is a gun, and it looks like a fully 3D rendered gun. You can turn it around, you can look at it, you can pull the clip, and this is like a flashlight, so you have to hold it like this and all sorts of shit like that. It's... I mean, kind of don't really know where else to go with that. But,
one of the things that I really like is when someone puts the headset on, and you need to hand them the controllers, the controllers show up in the Vive. So even though you're basically like, you cannot see anything that's happening in the room.
You can't see anything.
Always
of course,
see,
you know, there's
these
this.
controllers.
But you can
no
look
matter
anywhere.
where they're at. You know where they're at because you can see them and you just reach out and pick it up.
Yep, it's exactly where it's at. Now in the game,
Ian says hi.
hello.
Ian is my nephew.
Ah, hello.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you, bud.
So yeah, let's see. So we can see what it shows. Unfortunately, I don't think it would work that way, and we can't do it now. Just with the way our streaming setup is, we'd have to basically shut down Prep Babe. It's weird. Sorry. So you went with the Vive and not the Rift. Yeah, actually, that was kind of what I would consider to be a happy little accident. So I had originally pre-ordered the Rift, and yeah, so basically they fucked the shipping up and the distribution of that so bad that at some point I was just like, okay, I don't think I'm ever gonna get this Rift. The Vive pre-orders just went on sale, so tell you what, I'll order both of them, or I'll put the other one on pre-order, and whichever one ships first, I'll keep that one. So then basically more info came out that was like, retailers were getting the Rift before the Kickstarter backers.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I don't know, how would you just say despicable?
Yeah.
So at that point I canceled the Rift pre-order, and it said that the estimated ship time for mine was July, right? But suddenly, Sunday morning, I woke up and I had an email that it had shipped. It was here Tuesday. So, yeah. What's going on,
What's up, Wicked Karma?
So, yeah, so, like, and after buying this and, like, the room tracking technology...
No, you made the right choice.
There's no way I would go with the Rift. Because the other thing is, the Rift doesn't come with controllers. Those are sold separately, which are about $200. It does come with
a controller, which is an Xbox One controller, but it's not a room-tracked controller.
Yeah.
It's just a standardized controller.
Now, they're coming out with 2 controllers similar to these for the Vive. I'm sorry, for the Rift.
Yep.
That will be sold separately. But those are sold separately. And they're about the price point of $200, which is... Well,
which basically,
ironically,
like, you might as well just buy a Vive.
Yeah, exactly. Which is the price difference between them.
Oh.
So...
What's up, Mr. Healy?
Mr. Healy, how you doing? So yeah, like you said, really, in my opinion, there's honestly no reason to buy a Rift. Because if you're going for it from the cost perspective,
yeah.
Well, if you're going to want the controllers that haven't released yet, you're going to be paying the extra $200 for those, which is the price difference. And those come with the Vive. There's room tracking, which it doesn't do.
Yeah.
There's not Steam support, and it will. Okay, do you want one that's backed by Facebook or by Valve?
I mean, realistically, Facebook has more money. So if you ask that question, I would honestly say Facebook. I think we'll probably get more exclusive games for the Rift than we will for the Vive.
Here's the thing, though.
Yes, that's the point that I want to make sure that you make clear.
Vive can play Rift games too. You're not supposed to be able to, but I mean, PC people are going to mod and they're going to do what they like.
Yeah.
So Rift cannot play Vive games though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it doesn't have the room tracking technology. So if anyone's on the fence or doesn't know which one, and you know, if it's between Vive or Rift, if you're going PSVR, that's different. If you own a PlayStation, go for it. But if you're going kind of for the PC versions of it, and you don't know Rift or Vive, 100% go with the Vive.
Yep.
It has better resolution, bigger FOV, and that also, the larger field of view, right, also cuts down completely on motion sickness.
Yeah.
Not one person, and we put a lot of hours into this in the since Tuesday, has complained about motion sickness.
Now, I did get vertigo once, but I'll talk about that on a later slide.
All right.
Hit a couple of comments. $200, that's a lot of ramen and PBR. Hell yeah, it is.
You bet your ass.
Peviv says, plus Vive had better numbers back on your comparison episode. Good callback, Peviv. It
Yes,
did.
it did.
$7.99. Jesus. I will cuss play on my TV. Just play? Yeah.
Well, I can tell you what.
I mean,
Any of you fellas that are here in Austin, if I want to come over,
hit me
of
up.
course, and try it out, talk to Tommy, and
I'll set it up.
we'll set up a time for you. Like I said, this really
it's $5
is
per minute. So
this really is technology that you have to like see it to believe it. And you have to be in there to do it.
Like I said, everything that we will say over the course of the next hour will not do this thing justice.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I can say with 100% certainty that it is the future of not all gaming. You'll always have, gaming, but the applications for this are completely endless.
It's like when 3D gaming came out, and again, there is no comparison that is strong enough. But when 3D games came out, had Mario 64 and Crash Bandicoot and Nights into Dreams and all these games that were going into 3D, but you still had 2D platformers, you still had 2D side-scrollers and top-down RPGs, and you still had all of those kinds of games. It was just what did you want to check out? And at the time, if anybody got an N64 or PlayStation, it's like, let me see the best thing that you can get your hands on. So,
with that, let's move on to our next slide, which is
I'm not ready to yet.
Oh, I thought it was about the games.
No, I want to give more. I want to talk more about this whole new world thing. This whole new world approach. So, when we were talking about it, one of the comparisons that I made was, it's like being a kid again.
Yeah,
it's like when you're a kid and you get that one thing for Christmas, and you're so excited, and all your friends want to come over and play it, like. I've never been to your house more times without the goal of streaming as I have in the last week.
Yeah.
My wife came over today and played for a while, and she had a really good time with it. So it gives you this like sense of awe and wonder.
Yeah, I said this to you on Tuesday. Let's see, I had you and I had old Tasty come over. So it was me, you, VKP, of course, and Tasty. And I was talking to Tommy, and I said, look, as an adult, you become like, patient and that sort of, all these sorts of things that come with growing up, right? Mm-hmm. But I was like, but with this, I kind of feel like I want all of you to fuck off. Like, when you're a kid and like, you're like, oh yeah, come check out my new Nintendo. Yeah. And got the 64, and they come over, and the other person's playing it, and you wanted them to come over so they could play it. But when they're doing it,
you wanted them to come over so they could see it.
All you're kind of thinking like is, God damn it, I could be playing this right now.
Yeah.
And I had that feeling, and I knew like, no, that's bullshit. But like, I haven't felt that since I was a kid, though.
Yeah.
Like
you're messing with my toy. This is my toy. I want to be playing. $800, that's a lot of Guinness and macaroni. It is. Ankit says, compared to Nintendo Virtual Boy, would you say better, on par, or worse?
On par.
Definitely on par with the Virtual Boy. Virtual Boy changed video games for the better. Virtual Boy is the GOAT. Tried the demo at the Microsoft Store. Super badass, says Lord Barbecue. Peviv says, man, quit playing with all my Constructicons. I want to make Devastator. Zariella says the demo was amazing.
Yeah, it's... Like I said, because the thing is, what you see on screen is just, you're still seeing it 2D when you're watching someone else play it.
Yeah.
And it just, the difference of just simply being in it to showing, even when we do stream it, there's no way that we're going to be able to do it any sort of justice. Yeah. Now, I mean, this is something that it's like, okay, I want everyone to buy one now. Right,
yeah,
I want everyone to.
Which, don't get me wrong, $800, that's a big pill to swallow.
But there will be cheaper versions, more like consumer versions coming soon.
This is Gen 1. Yeah. And that's also something that's
it's like I didn't buy the PlayStation 3 until like 5 years after it was released because I couldn't afford it at the time. Yep. But then finally I bought it and had a great time with it. So, and this is kind of the same thing. Like, Tommy, you did what? You bought a PS3 at what, day one?
Not a PS3, no. I didn't get a PS3 until... I don't even remember.
Well, regardless.
It was about a year later or so.
Regardless.
I chose to go with the Wii instead. They both came out like a week apart.
Did you fuck up?
Yep. I did. I mean, the Wii was, it was... And it's a good comparison or a good thing to bring up is like the Wii was awesome and it was super fun and it was something that people hadn't seen before and everybody wanted to get their hands on it. Except the difference is that I didn't see a future with the Wii and a future did not come for the Wii. Like it came and went. But I only see getting better and better and better as more games, as developers kind of figure out how to develop for it because it's a different beast.
Yeah, I've kept saying that over and over. Which is like, this is as shitty as it's gonna get.
Yeah, this is version 1.0.
It's mind blowing already, and this is as worse as it's gonna be ever.
Pepev says, "Do you think the price point will come down?" Definitely.
I don't think soon.
Yeah, no.
I think it's gonna be at least like probably a year.
Like
maybe
any
2
technology,
years.
give it some time.
Especially this, because, like I said, we've had game consoles before, and it took a little while for PS3 price point to drop, but...
Not too long, because it came out at $600.
Within a year, it was down but this is...
4,
like, this is the Atari of this technology, right? Like,
what do you mean by that?
It's the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Or, or in television, whatever was the first official, the Pong console.
This is a console launch.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that... what I think is going to win a lot of people over eventually is in October when PSVR launches.
Yeah, at $400.
$400. That's literally half the price of the Vive. Now a couple features are missing, whatever. But people
sorry, go ahead.
But I think very much the same sort of experience as far as at least being able to kind of be in VR. That will show people, exactly how good it is, and then people will, maybe buy the Vive or, just pick up the concept more.
Yeah.
But the other thing is also, they can't keep these things in the shelves.
Nope.
Well, in the warehouses.
Yeah.
There's a back order for, how mine got shipped to me, I do not know. Because, I was looking on the Vive subreddit, and, dude, there are people that ordered, day one of pre-order that haven't gotten theirs yet. And I ordered mine 2 months afterwards and got mine Tuesday. So I don't know how this is exactly working. Some people are, I guess, just getting lucky. But the demand for it is so insane that they can't keep up with manufacturing.
Yeah. One of your friends that was over here today, and he played with it yesterday. He came over today and played with it for a bit. I asked him if he was going to get one, and he was like, "Yeah, I've already pre-ordered it. Not pre-ordered, but." Yeah, don't expect it to ship in 2 days.
Yeah, this is a guy who'll be generic Jiffy. He's going to be joining us probably not too long from now here, but doesn't really play a lot of games. He spends most of his time studying up on programming and stuff. It's kind of the guy that I do my programming with. But brought him over and very frugal. Well, he doesn't spend a lot of money on things.
Yeah.
He until about 4 months ago had a BlackBerry from 2006 or whatever it was, didn't, nothing. And this, after 2 days of just coming over here and fucking around with it, bought one, $800, out.
Yeah.
And no reservations about it either.
Badman says, I have a PSVR on reserve. I may say fuck it and pick up a Vive instead.
If you have the means to do so,
I'm contemplating the same thing. And I'm a massive PlayStation fanboy. And I am super, super excited for PSVR. My concern with PSVR now, though, is that I'm going to play it. And I'm just going to, wish it was the Vive. That's my concern. So, there are going to be exclusive games to the PSVR that I'm really excited to check out.
I'm willing to bet, though, that there's going to be a way to substitute the Vive for the PSVR, though.
Maybe. I mean, if anybody can figure it out, the people that figured out how to make Rift work on with the Vive. There is something, we talked about the room tracking and stuff. PlayStation VR does have a something similar. When you buy it, when you buy the bundle, it comes with a PlayStation Eye, which is the camera, and then it comes with Move controllers that has the lights on them. So it does the 3D tracking, but it tracks you and your controllers. It doesn't necessarily scan the room, and it doesn't outline the walls, and the sense of space will not be as great. It will allow you to be able to do a lot of cool stuff with 3D tracking where you are, but it won't be able to track where you are in terms or in relation to where you are in a room.
Sure. Okay.
So, and that's one of the cooler things about the Vive.
And the other thing is about if you're Badman, if you're debating on, PSVR or Vive, just the number of free games that are going to be available for PC, if you're able to, are going to be, it's going to be way more. Like, there's already a ton, these games right now, by the way, are very expensive. And I don't think it's the fact that they cost that much to develop. I think it's more of the I got you by the balls. Like, you spent a large amount of money on this. Don't you want to get your money's worth out of it? Yeah. Now, come on, you're going to shell out $35.
There's a game we'll be talking about very, very soon called Tilt Brush, which is basically just an art game where you build stuff.
It's more than that. But,
yeah. I'm trying to undersell it because I'm saying that the game is $30.
Yeah.
Which is like Microsoft Paint costing $30. But when we actually start talking about it, we'll definitely be able to tell you why it's worth $30 and probably way more.
Let's hit a couple comments real quick. Onken says, Tommy talks about the Vive like Reggie talks about the Wii. I only see this getting better with age.
Man, the difference is Reggie's Law doesn't apply here. There's no steps back.
No. Badman says, I can only imagine how good the expensive VR headsets are. I play with the Samsung Gear, which is already amazing.
Yeah, and that's just a phone.
Well, the Vive is about it's the most expensive version at the moment.
It's the high end.
Basically, I bought that simply out of I thought it would ship first, and it did.
Yeah.
But I do not regret my purchase whatsoever. Will we see a reboot of VR Troopers with the success of Vive? Probably not. And Vive la Ape. And what's Generic GIF? Also, that's the person we were talking about earlier who came over, tried it, immediately pre-ordered one. You want to give your quick impressions here in chat on what you thought of the Vive?
Yeah, throw it in there. Let them know.
One thing I wanted to
hold on,
also...
I want to hit this one comment we missed.
Yeah, sure.
Will we see a reboot of VR Troopers with the success of Vive? We fucking better. We're getting a Power Rangers, Iron Man Rangers, and then he says, "Hey, LeMayo."
Yep. One thing I wanted to also touch on that was kind of funny. So you were talking about the Wii and how you were like, "Oh man, I saw it had a future, but then it had no future."
Yeah. This
was like the opposite.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't think VR had dick going for it.
Yeah.
And then now to me it's I'm happy to be alive and at my current age of 26 to know that I have potentially 75 more years, assuming I live to be 100, of this technology.
I have one more point to make, and then we'll start talking about the games a little bit.
All right.
You are a glass half empty kind of motherfucker when it comes to the video game industry.
Well, most things. I'm very pessimistic. Yes.
You are, and you have a very palette that is challenging. You like only specific things, and you stick with a lot of those things. Like, it has to really come out and blow your mind for you to be interested in it.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's what makes you, and I love you.
Oh, shucks.
So you're not easily sold on things, and this episode will probably end, and there will be the least amount of negativity come out of your voice out of an entire episode. Granted, we are going to talk about Nintendo here in a little bit, so I'll make sure to get some of that out of you.
Bing.
Yeah, we'll have some DKP negativity. But right now, you and I are both voting for the HTC Vive in this year's election.
Yes. Make VR great again.
Yep. That's so. As of right now, I think it's really important to note that
if Hillary is the Rift and Bernie is, of course, the cheap, trying to give everyone. Yeah. It's for everybody. He's a PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Then Vive is of course the Trump of VR. Big, bombastic, and expensive. And it has room tracking.
I'm going to leave that alone. It does have that room tracking. Trump's all about that room tracking.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, Generic Jeff has said, I'm the cheapest dude ever. I just told everyone this. I only got a smartphone 6 months ago, and after trying out the Vive twice, bought it immediately. It's unbelievable. Well, there you have it, folks.
Generic Jeff speaks. If you don't want to listen to a couple of knuckleheads, a couple of dinguses like us, listen to Generic. There you
go. Anything else you want to cover on just the basics before we go into kind of the... Well, actually, give me the headset real quick. Let's simply kind of show how it works.
Let's model it.
No, we're not going to model it.
There's
a couple things to kind of note.
Hey, man, check out this new guitar my dad got me. And we're like, don't know how to play it. And we're like,
a couple things to kind of note that will be improved upon in the future is, all right, so unfortunately, there is a cord.
We do need to shit on it for a second.
Right, there's
a couple of challenges with it.
Yes. This cord has to be ever maintained. Of course, at least it's decently long, as you see, right? I'm not going to go the whole thing.
It's going.
It's like 10 feet.
I got to the end.
Right. But, yeah, it's always ever present.
Yep.
And you're going to be... Now, luckily, stepping over this thing, or...
It becomes second nature.
It becomes second nature. You just kind of step over anyways. Now, the other thing that I kind of don't like about it, though, is this headphone port. So, of course, you have your cable connections run into your PC, and there's a headphone port right here. I have not yet found some headphones that, when I turn around or move, this thing, the regular cord, as you see right here, pulls the fucking things out of my ears, and it drives me insane.
Yep.
Now, I know that there's some people that, I've seen them that have, like, the over-the-ear headphones.
Yeah.
I guess you can do that. I have yet to try that.
We should do that. More immersive that way.
And there's a knob right here. Now what this does, so the lenses, and the thing is, like, there's a sweet spot to it. It looks very blurry for a lot of people when they first put it on. But you have to kind of adjust it. Everyone's eyes are a different thing apart. Yeah. Of course, the knob does that. And there's also, which, this is the other thing, they did not know this until today, as a matter of fact, right? These things here on the side, right? This is kind of where your straps are. These pull out. And then you could twist them, and the actual lenses on the inside move forward or backwards per one. And it's like, I didn't know that. It wasn't in the manual. It wasn't anything like that. And that made it from, like, playable, pretty blurry, like, to almost crystal clear. And it's like, wish I would have known that. What other, you got any problems with it? What you got?
So, the weight, it's a bit hefty. It is a bit heavy. And it hasn't...
I'd say it's about a pound.
And it hasn't been too bad
still,
for me.
You know?
But, like, Elizabeth, after she left earlier, or, she talked about it feeling a bit heavy and it kind of hurting her neck. And after she left, when we were driving home after leaving here earlier today, she's like, yeah, my neck and back are kind of bothering me. She's like, it kind of, it kind of hurts. And she has neck and back problems anyway. Right. But that is important to note if you guys already have back problems or you're concerned about the weight. Now, for me, not a neck problem, not a back problem. I haven't had a single issue with it, but
I got a pretty bad back myself,
but
very rarely have I experienced that.
Yeah,
but it has happened once or twice.
No motion sickness or anything like that.
None of that, luckily.
And my wife cannot do like 3D movies. I mean, she can, but her eyes get hurt after a while, and she's got to rub and stuff like that. But she didn't have that problem after doing this for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, my biggest problem with it is that the cord is very kind of cumbersome.
Yeah.
But, within, I would probably say 5 years. I'm giving it an ample amount of time because there's a lot of data that's being transferred from that headset into your computer.
Absolutely.
Before it goes fully wireless.
Yep.
I'm going to say probably 5 years before you have that
I'm excited for the day when they can put all the technology in that and you can just buy that.
Into the cable, by the way. Here's the other thing to note. Here's the reason why it took me 3 hours to set up. So this is what needs to be plugged into your PC. You have, of course, an HDMI cable. You have... I don't even know what this is. Doesn't matter. And
that's for audio, I'm assuming?
And USB, right? Now, my video card... right? Only has one HDMI input. Oh, I'm sorry. One HDMI input. So I had to Amazon Now a HDMI to DVI converter. So everything else is going into the separate DVI port, and this is running into the main HDMI port. So yeah, that might be problematic. Of course, nothing is without its cons, but once you get it set up, and like I said, set up a little bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah. Hypothetically, if somebody knows what they're doing, like if you got one, I could probably set it up for you in 20 minutes.
Cool.
Now that I know how to do it,
Yeah.
But initially, by the way, buy a drill. Because having to screw...
Everybody should have a fucking drill.
I don't have a fucking drill.
It's 2016.
Well, I don't have one.
If you're above the age of 21, you should own a drill.
I'm sorry.
If you don't own a drill...
Hey, do you have a Vive,
Talk to your parents.
Do you have a Vive?
Yeah, but a Vive is a luxury item. A drill is not.
I'm sorry, I don't have a drill, but do you have a drill? That's nice. Do you have
Yeah,
Vive?
I have a lot of drills.
Do you have an HTC
I'm a
Vive?
grown ass man.
Well, if you have if you have a plethora of drills, fucking give me one.
Okay.
All right, well, cool. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, don't say it like that. People could misconstrue that as a euphemism.
Let's hit a couple of comments, and then we'll finally move off this Apu slide. Or a boo slide, not a poo.
By the way,
the one who works in.
What?
He's doing a little.
Why did you do this? Is it because it's a monkey?
It's a whole new world.
Hashtag Team Drill.
It's a whole new world because he's riding the magic carpet and stuff.
Then why wouldn't it be Aladdin?
Because we are apes.
But that's not an ape, though.
I know, but that's closer to an ape than Aladdin is. Anybody get me?
Well, actually, I mean,
anybody get my creativity going on? Right? What's up right here?
Look, it's fine. Fine.
DKP's ponytail
and reference to the cord. There was a video we posted on our Facebook page with a cord. Yeah, it looked like I had a ponytail.
Yeah, you look real badass with it.
Oh,
you look real badass.
I feel like I look like some sort of like DOS programmer from the 80s.
I don't think you're using it right. I'm certain it needs to be plugged in. You are correct. Bluetooth headset may be cool. The demo at the Microsoft Store was over the ear. That's what's up.
Yeah, and incorrect humans are technically
my
apes.
back.
My neck and my back, they hurt bad.
Incorrect humans are technically apes. Shut up, Zariella. Zariella is the one that's like, bro, don't get the PSVR. He's like, get the Vive. He's been talking to me about Vive for like 3 months.
Damn.
You got to get the Vive, bro.
You do.
Don't get don't get PSVR. It's like the room tracking. It makes it so much better.
Like, I'd like to know one other thing before we move to the next slide. If you can't afford the Vive, go with any iteration of VR. As long as it's not like the cell phone one. Because I tried one of those. That's way different. You need one with like.
You have one of those too.
Up there.
Just a piece.
Just do it. Get it. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if it's the Vive. I don't care if it's the Rift. Everybody needs to be able to try out this technology. It is fucking cool. All right, next slide.
Let's talk some games.
I'm going to quickly go to the bathroom.
All right, so while you're doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the first one that I tried, which was the Disney Movies VR, which is not technically a game. It's just like it's a free download. It's just an experience, and you can visit a couple of different Disney worlds. So there's one that has like Jungle Book and stuff like that. That's the actual Disney portion. There's a Marvel one, which as of right now is just the red carpet. It's like walking the red carpet during the Civil War launch party or whatever, the premiere. That thing sucked, by the way. If it's like, oh, check it out. It's that guy who was in 2 episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Who cares? And then it has a Star Wars one. So the Star Wars one, there's 2 different ones. There's a Jakku race, and then there's a Jakku like droid thing. The Jakku race, earlier I was talking about I got vertigo. That's what gave me vertigo. So I think you're supposed to be sitting down when you play it. But it's basically you're on like a speeder or something, and you're just driving across the desert. It's about a minute long. And you just kind of look around while it's going across the sand at high speeds. And you're like looking up, and there's the crashed Battle Star, whatever those things are called. The Destroyer. Star Destroyer? I think it's the Star Destroyer. You know, the crashed Star Destroyer that Rey is looking in. Sorry, spoiler alert, but it's 6 months after that movie came out. So, yeah, you should probably sit down when you do that one, but I was standing up. But it was going so fast, my brain thought I was in motion, but my body was not in motion. So I got a little bit of vertigo, and I had to shift a little bit to get comfortable. And there's one part where you actually go up the side of a dune, and you kind of go up and then down. And that part, I got a little bit of sickness there. But I didn't try any of the Jungle Book ones. But before I leave tonight, I would like to try them because I think they're scenes from the movie, but in VR, and that sounds amazing. I would love to do the part with what's the snake's name? Bagheera?
No, Bagheera is the panther.
What's the snake?
The Black Panther.
I
don't know.
Whatever. The snake. Scarlett Johansson, the snake.
Yes.
And I just watched the animated movie a week ago, and I can't remember. So yeah,
is it the 360 YouTube vid? Yeah, it's basically that. It is by far the weakest thing that you could do in VR.
The weakest thing that you can do in VR was the red carpet.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like Oh man, there's the riders.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
Ka.
let's look behind me. Oh, it's all these random paparazzi dickheads.
Yeah.
Great.
And the way that the VR camera's set up, like, the paparazzi are ginormous, and everybody else looks far away. Like, it sucks. And we watched the stream version of it instead of the download, so the quality was really garbage.
It was awful. Just terrible.
I felt like a total loser, like, watching people walk down that carpet.
Yeah, and also, like...
To each their own. But.
It really kind of shatters the illusion of the Hollywood red carpet.
Yeah.
That thing is like a mile long, and it's just, they walk, they stop, they walk, they stop.
Yeah,
I thought,
they just turn and take pictures.
I literally thought, like, it was like
it's just them stopping and taking pictures.
I thought the red carpet was like the length of a driveway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they walk in, they stop, and then they go inside for whatever the fucking event is going on.
If I was like a big name celebrity going to a premiere and I had to walk the red carpet, I'd be so pissed. I'm like, well, here's the next 2 hours of my life, like walking from here the next 100 feet. Cause the snake's name. Appreciate it.
It was awful. Just terrible.
Can't wait to have friends over to play horror games in VR.
Now, there's not too many of those yet, unfortunately. There's a lot that are in development, but a lot of them, it suffers from the same sort of thing of, like when I got PS4 at launch. It's one of the first things I've ever bought at launch. Normally, I never get consoles at launch, but that one was able to afford it.
Yeah.
Because I was in it, finally like fully established adult, etc. Right. Anyways, there was nothing to play.
Yeah.
I was buying games that were re-releases.
You're like, oh, I can't wait
PS3
to play
games.
Assassin's Creed, Black Flag.
Yeah. Oh boy. It suffers from that a little bit. There's so many things that are in development right now that aren't out, but there's enough just new things, like, for example, Brookhaven Experiment. Now, that's not actually out yet, but there is a free demo. That is essentially, you're standing in a field, it's dark, and there are zombies just kind of walking towards you. Now...
in 360 degrees.
Yes, 360 degrees.
So they're coming from literally every angle.
Yeah. One of these is a gun, so when you look at it, it's like a Beretta or whatever. One of them's a flashlight, so you can do the cool tactical thing.
Yeah.
Eventually, you just kind of start panicking and forget about that, and you just go one over the other. But also, while you might look like a total dick in real life, to you feel like fucking John McClane. When you do some shit where, like, there's a zombie, like, coming right there, and you just go, pah! And it's like the headshot. You feel really cool, but you probably look like an asshole.
Yeah, that game, I actually haven't played that yet, but I watched you play it, and it looked fucking lame. It looked super lame.
Right, and I probably did too. But, trust me, it's great.
That's the one we got the video of, as you play now.
Yeah. So like I said, that's pretty
not to say that it is lame, because everything on Vive looks lame. But none of it is. It's all badass.
Now... that is the one that has, like, scared the shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Personally, I just thought it was fun, but...
What did you find it, like, more exhilarating than if that exact same game was on just a console?
I wouldn't play it if it was on console. Like...
Exactly.
Yeah. So here...
as far as, like, the adrenaline or, like, the scare factor, did you feel like it was more?
Than if playing on console?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the thing is, like, it's very easy to forget that the rest of the world around you exists.
Yeah.
And that might sound like unbelievable or corny or whatever, but I'm saying it like being 100% genuine. I knew, like, internally, that people were sitting here on this couch, talking, having other conversations, while I was doing that. But with the headphones in, and everything else like that, right, it's... literally, like, there could be, for example, Tommy's wife Elizabeth was over here earlier, and she was playing it, and Tommy and I decided to step outside and have a cigarette. She had no idea that we'd left, and we came back, and as far as she knew, we were here the entire time. Like, the rest of the world might as well not exist when you're in this
There was
thing.
actually one point when we were outside, and she came outside, and she's like, when did you guys leave? I've been sitting there talking to you guys for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, ooh. Sorry.
So yeah, Brookhaven was good. The blue is, and here's the thing. So everyone that has come over and tried it, it really just depends on the person. Like what game eventually like sells them on it, or what it is. Like for me, the first like really immersive cool thing was what's called the blue. Now it's not so much of a game rather than, I guess, like an experience.
It's a 10-minute 3D video, basically.
Yeah. So basically it puts you on the floor of the ocean, or it puts you on like a sunken pirate ship, and you can walk around in whatever your room space is, essentially, right? And for example, like there's a reef migration one, to where like turtles come by and swim, and you can reach out and like poke them with your,
and they react to it.
Then like a big swarm of like fluorescent jellyfish come by, and like you can hear like the wind currents coming through. If a fish like flies past your head, you can hear it. That one really got me. But there were some people who were like, I showed them that one first, and they were like, yeah, this is all right. But then we went into Brookhaven or whatever, and they were like, oh, that was the one that it's different, I guess, like what brings everybody in, like what sells it for each person.
Like the blue, just to stay on that for a little while, it talking about the sense of space and where you're at, you were walking around and you like feel like you are underwater, and everything of course is animated, everything is created, but everything doesn't feel that way. They do such a good job designing everything that it, like the fish, you think they're fish.
Yeah.
Like your brain convinces you that those are fish in front of you, or a jellyfish, or like a manta ray or whatever. Like you think that it is what it is. And like when there's one part where there's a giant jellyfish who swims like right through the center of your room space, and you can like touch him, and he like ripples and has like a jiggle to him. You can
poke the sea enemies and they
react to it.
So yeah, another one that this is, I think, probably, if anyone gets, or if anyone has one or it's coming in, game you should definitely buy is a Job Simulator.
This is the one that sold my wife on it.
Yeah, this is probably the most fun I've had with it. Now, what Job Simulator is it's basically like humans are extinct, the world's run by little robots, much like the one up here, and you're basically playing as a robot in a human museum, where it's like has like little game cartridges that look like NES. You start in like a little lobby, and it's like, please pick a cartridge, and you have so you have auto mechanic, you have chef, you have office worker, and you have let's see, was it convenience store clerk. So basically, you pop this cartridge in, and you throw the thing, and it does this like mock simulation of how they thought we lived back then or did these jobs. So
it's like a parody or a mock version of the actual job.
Yeah, so
it's very silly.
I find that most people I know in real life aren't chefs or convenience store clerks or auto mechanics. They all work in offices. So it's always the one everyone naturally goes for first to see what that's like. And this one to me was the one that like really gives you a sense of scale. And I'm not sure if how big, because when you do the office one, you're in a cubicle, right? I don't know if this is a happy accident or if it takes whatever your room scale is and kind of scales it up or down. But basically my room scale, right, of how big that, the play area that I have, and it knows that, was exactly how big the cubicle was.
Yeah.
And it was literally like littered with all sorts of just like shit you could pick up. You can, and these, the controllers become two hands. There's a left and right one. So like you can pick it up and you can turn it, like if you want to look over and like look a book, like, just like how you would interact with an object, right? Like this piece of paper or this, envelope, and you're like, all right, well, I want to turn it over and look here or here. Like you can do that, and it works that well, right? And yeah, basically you go through there's like little tasks you do. You pick up paper, and it's like, okay, write an email, and the keyboard is just 2 1s and 0s, so you just fucking flap your fingers on it. But the point is, I'm trying to make as far as like, because it rendered like a perfect cubicle of the exact room space, that one really like was accidentally probably the most immersive for me. Like
one of the things that we haven't mentioned, but you can really tell with Job Simulator is when something is in Job Simulator but it's not in the real world. So there's a part where you're sitting at a desk.
Oh yeah.
And I like wanted to sit the controller down on the desk, but there wasn't a desk in front of me. So I like try to do it. I like put it out, and I'm like, oh wait, no, it's not a desk.
So yeah, there's like you have your cubicle desks, and you have your computer tower a lot of times beneath it. Well, at one point you have to turn on your computer tower. Well, I had a buddy over playing it, and a lot of times, when you're going to crouch down and reach under a desk, you put your hand on the desk to make sure you don't fall over backwards, right?
Yeah.
Well, he did that. He went down to try to put his hand on it and almost fell over because he was trying to grab, something that fucking didn't exist.
Yeah. Are you guys all still there? Are you just so fascinated by what you're saying you're not talking? Or did we lose you?
We're probably just not being that interesting, but...
or we're being so interesting.
This is about impressions, and that's what we're given, so... Yeah. And that's one thing, especially when you play Job Simulator, I find mostly, you have to, and this is impossible to explain, readjust to being back in reality. It's one of the weirdest things, and it's also like one of the scariest things about this. Like reality almost feels like not real for about 5 minutes afterwards, depending on how long you're in.
Yeah, you take it off and you're like, whoa. Reality doesn't even look like reality anymore.
Yeah, like really, because it's really weird because you lose kind of sense of space so easy that like when you take off the headset, you're like, oh shit, I'm over by the bathroom door. Like, I thought I was probably in the middle of the room or whatever. Like, you have no idea. And also we should quickly go off of talk about the chaperone mode. So what that is so you, like I said, you trace your room, right? And when you get too close to a wall, right? Basically these little like lines appear, like very faint, and the closer you get to it, like they most of the time they're not, you can't see them at all. But if you're about to like walk into the wall, it gives you ample enough time to know like, hey, you're about to hit a wall, and these like
you're in virtual reality. This isn't real life.
These grid lines appear, and it's like, don't go any past here. This is a wall.
It's getting dangerous.
So that way, you don't basically walk into a wall and break your nose. And speaking of your, wanting to set it down, they have this program called Virtual Desktop.
You want to hit that now? I'd say we hit the rest of the games and then we talk about Virtual Desktop.
Okay, that's fine. Well, all we got really left to talk about is Tilt Brush.
Yep. Let's talk about Tilt Brush. Tilt Brush is the game that we were talking about earlier that is basically just a program to be able to build things in 3D space. So make paintings or sculptures, or I've seen videos where people design clothing and stuff like that in that game. That was what sold me on the Vive. Like, not Brookhaven, which I didn't play, or Job Simulator, or The Blue, or Disney. All those were neat. Like, they were cool, and I was like, this is the future, this is amazing. But Tilt Brush was like, it was the first time I did not want to take the headset off. I like took it off because I felt guilty about being in there for too long. So I'm not artistic. I wouldn't call myself artistic. I'm pretty good at a slide.
This thing makes me fucking wish I was an artist, but I am not.
So, you paint things or sculpt things in a 3D space. So you use the controllers. You mind handing it to me? So like you would paint and you would click and you can make a circle and it'll make a circle in 3D space as you hold it down. So, you use the left hand as like your easel, or what's it called? It's
whatever the palette is that like artists paint with, right?
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
That's where you pick your color from and stuff.
But what it is, it's like a box around it. Yeah. So you pull it up and you point, and you can pick like, okay, well I want brush, or I want spray paint, or fire, or smoke.
Fire's cool.
And then you can turn it around.
Turn it around to select the color. You can scale it to the color that you want. Yeah,
there's a complete color gradient. And the coolest thing is, like, let's say, okay, you take, so you take the fire one, and it makes a sound like, whoo, right? Yeah. And you can make whatever color you want. You can walk around it and see it in 3D.
Yeah.
Like, you're not painting on a 2D surface. You're painting whatever it is, like, you can walk around it.
Yeah.
So you can paint 3D objects.
So the first thing that I saw you do, of course, you made some dicks.
Of course.
Because,
naturally.
Yeah. And you're like, oh, I can make amazing ejaculate, we'll call it.
You can ejaculate fire.
Yeah, and you
what's not to like?
You were doing your little art thing, and you were making it all. So when I took over, I was just trying to make. I made a volcano because I saw somebody do that in a demo, and it looked like shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a beach scene. So I made a a palm tree, and I was putting the palm fronds on it, and then I made some sand, and I put it on the beach, and then I was like, okay, I need to put the ocean. I made a giant sun in the sky, and I was painting the ocean, and I got to the tree, and I was like, how am I going to get around this tree? And I was like, oh wait, the tree isn't actually there. I could just walk through the tree to paint the ocean. So like it was another one of those circumstances where you didn't want to get in the way of something that was in the world, but you weren't actually in the world. So again, it's a very, very odd sensation dealing with objects that are in front of you that you honestly in your mind and heart believe are there that aren't actually there.
Yeah. Let's hit a couple comments real quick.
Yeah.
Pebble says, don't know. Okay, yeah, they were all saying like, "Hey, we're still here." You know, let's see, and trying to figure out how to get my wife to want to hang out at DKP's with me.
Peb says, "I'm curious about how none of these seem to be actual games."
Just tell her I'm very charming.
There are actual games on it. We just didn't get any.
So that's the thing. With this, you might have to like reevaluate what you define as a game.
There are games for it.
I know. Well,
they exist.
Well, there are things. There are programs, I call them, that mirror more traditional mechanics of games.
Yeah.
But I would definitely consider Job Simulator a game. Because wasn't Surgeon Simulator a game?
I would consider it a game like Surgeon Simulator.
It's almost the same.
But I think that when he says games, I think he means like, you know, a first-person shooter, exploratory, action-adventure
experiment was.
Yeah, but that's just you standing in a space. Like, that's an on-rail shooter, basically.
Well, House of the Dead was...
It isn't a rail.
You know, House of the Dead's a game.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that when he's talking about games, I think he's referring to, like,
okay,
how about a 3D platformer? Or how about an RTS?
All that's coming.
Like, a role-playing game.
RTS would be so easy.
Yeah.
Because, like...
It would be nuts.
When you go into the VR... When you go into the VR menu, you select everything. There's, like, a very solid, like, laser pointer that comes out of this, and you point to it. And there's, like, no lag to it. So if you were, like, wanting to point and drag and click units and all that, it would be very easy to do that. That's probably already in development, but...
We're definitely going to be giving impressions on games as we experience more of it. But, you know, it's brand new. You've probably only spent maybe 5-6 hours in VR. Yeah. And that's all you've been doing.
There's more people
have been coming over.
Yeah. Other people have spent more time in this than I have. And I'm not pissed off about that one bit.
Yeah. Jealous maybe, but not.
No, it's so fun to see a friend come over and like get their impressions on it.
Yeah.
You know? Because I don't know. It's it. But I did in a couple of comments. But like I said, even though these might not be traditional games, like this might... Like, remember how I've always said walking simulators were not games? And I still kind of say they're not?
Oh, they definitely are.
Well then, okay, if you consider that, then...
I'm just saying it because I want to argue with you.
But this...
We have to find something to argue about
this might finally make those games relevant.
Yeah.
Like...
Not just relevant, but like engaging and immersive and atmospheric and...
Cause it might not be a game, but feeling as though you're somewhere else, you're walking on the bottom of the fucking ocean, you're in this weird office with these robots fucking coming and talking to you, like...
Are you cool with Dig Dug coming over?
Yeah, of course.
Come on over, Dig Dug.
Like right now? You can come over if you want. No shit. Come on over.
She lives like right across the street.
Yeah, come on. Like, just the experience of being somewhere else. It might not be a game, but that's maybe
this is a good time to go into virtual desktop.
Yes. Do we have our next slide for that, you think?
We don't have a virtual desktop slide.
No, about like the other applications for it?
Not other applications, no.
Alright. So we should probably stay here then.
Yep.
Okay, so virtual desktop is, well, it's what it sounds like. You put this on, right? And you have your computer. But the thing is, you can have it just basically in a black space of void of nothing. You can have it where basically it feels like you're sitting in a movie theater. You can see the rows. There's no one in the rows. Like you're sitting in an empty movie theater. Your computer screen is up on the, the giant screen. And the thing is, it looks like
you feel like you're in a movie theater.
you know how
wherever you are within virtual desktop is where you feel like you are.
So you know how like you've always been like, man, you know, it'd be really cool playing Donkey Kong Country 3 on in the movie theater, like on a screen that big. How fucking awesome would that be?
Yeah, you can do that.
Now, despite the fact it's on this little thing that's on your fucking face, it feels like the screen is that big to you.
Yeah.
There's another one, for an inverse example, right? There's Rick's Garage from Rick and Morty.
That one's cool.
Which is rendered like perfectly. And the screen in that one is like Rick's
that one actually
like a computer
best,
monitor.
That's the best screen, like as far as like visual, because a lot of them, I don't think they've gotten the resolution right on them.
Yeah,
and understandably so.
Still
I
a work in
progress.
progress
It takes to render that. But the resolution in the Rick and Morty one for your monitor, it's like a flat screen, like concave monitor. It's the best as far as resolution.
Yeah, it's like Rick's computer in his garage, and you're sitting there, so it's about this big to you, or it looks that way.
No, it looks about like, I don't know if you can see my hands. Probably wider than you can see.
But yeah, like literally, if I was gonna watch a movie now, like by myself, I would put this thing on, put on the movie theater mode, and to me, it feels like it's on the big screen.
Well, yeah, I watched probably like 15 minutes of Deadpool that way today, and it was like watching Deadpool in the movie theater again. It like what it made me realize is like, you know, they've talked about how movies are eventually going to get to the point, or they're trying to get it to the point to where a movie can come out on release day and you can pay like $50 and you can get the movie that way. Mm-hmm. So like Civil War came out like May 5th or something, and on May 5th you can download it.
Yeah.
So I would do that. I would pay the $50 and then watch it in a movie theater by myself using VR. Yeah. Totally worth it. 100% worth it. So
there was another one where it's like, you're at the Grand Canyon. It's
that
nighttime.
One's nuts. I got scared because it's like you can see down the sides.
And some of them have like ambient sounds to them too. So like you can hear the water rushing in the river below you in the Grand Canyon. Basically, what it looks like is imagine like a drive-in movie theater at the Grand Canyon, but instead it's in the middle of the canyon. And if you turn around, there's like a little helicopter behind you that's sitting there. Like apparently that's how you got there. There's like a little box of popcorn. That almost feels like you could fucking reach out and like grab it. Yeah. But the fucked up thing that happened to me was I was in the movie theater one, fucking around with it last night before I went to bed, and there's the little cup holders, right? And I had this controller in my hand, and you could still see it rendered, and I was like, all right. And I literally tried to pop it in the cup holder and dropped it, and it just fell on the floor, and I was like, oh shit, that's not. I mean, these things are sturdy and it's carpet, so thankfully, but yeah, like it's virtual desktop. Okay, the thing is about it though, it's not quite at the point where you can play. I tried to play Batman Arkham Knight on it, and it looked kind of like shit. The frame rate was less than it actually is, and it looked a little bit blurry. Now, that's more of a software problem at this point.
For sure.
Because this program can't, I guess, render that yet. But like I said, this is like Gen 1 of that program. So that'll become better in time. But I'm happy to say, if you have like emulators or something, and of course you have to do it legally, like myself, you have to own a copy of Mega Man X2 and Super Nintendo. We do not advocate. Anyways, fuck all that. But anyways, something like that looks perfect. Yeah. Completely like, and it like, listen, haven't you always wanted to go to have a buddy that worked at the movie theater and then go and hook up a Super Nintendo to it somehow and play on it? Like, it feels that way.
It does, yes.
And
Donkey Kong Country 2 has never felt better. Played that.
Neither is 3 or Mega Man X2 or Mega Man X3.
Hit a couple of comments before we move on.
Yep.
It'd be rad to be able to use a 3D printer to print what you make with Tilt Brush. Yes, it would be. Office Simulator is definitely a game.
Wow, that is a really fucking cool idea.
Yeah. Can I come give it a try? Yep. I just asked you if you wanted the address. Pokemon Snap VR will be... oh my god, I would love to play Pokemon in this. Combining that with like Pokemon Go, I think we talked about it before.
It's gonna happen.
It's gotta happen.
It's gonna happen.
8-Bit Ab says, a lot of people I follow in the games industry are preaching the good news of VR. It's awesome to see that hype in my friends now. Can't wait to try it. I'm telling you, bro. It's
By the way,
good.
Quickly, 8-Bit Abs.
We still have your art.
It has been a hectic kind of shitty week. Not like
No.
shitty, like but just shitty time-wise, like, you know.
VR got here. Nothing happens but VR.
I have not shipped out your prize yet.
Not to say it's a valid
promise.
excuse, but
anyways.
It's coming.
I'm sure you understand.
It's still sitting over there. We'll get it out to you, though.
It's in good hands.
Excuse me, friend. Do you have a moment to hear the good news about VR? Do you have a moment to hear about our Lord and Savior, virtual reality? Pev says, hey, be cool if your friends all over the world with Vives could join you in your VR movie theater. I think that's where eventually where it's going when they start getting bigger and you can start interacting with each other in a virtual world.
Imagine a world where you go to a movie theater and there's just like headsets that you pull over.
Yeah.
And of course, forget about the whole sanitary aspect of it. That's figured out, right? Assume. No more talking in movie theaters.
Yeah.
Because you can't look over at your friend and go, hey, guess what? No. And it would fix all that. It might kill the Alamo Draft House, but hey, man, I want to be there, you know? Anyway.
Anything else on this?
Yes. The other applications of it.
Okay, yeah, let's hit that.
Before we hit our next topic, which is VR porn, which we'll give a brief review.
Make sure you guys stick around.
We'll give a brief review of that. This is one of the few things where, as stoked as we are for what we've already seen, we've already done, I'm 10 times more excited for the future of this.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, and I've said this 1,000 times over the last couple days, this is as shitty as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest, and it's excellent.
We've talked about this on Prep Ape on the virtual reality episode. Yeah, well, we'll hit that here in a second. But when you have the ability, when they can place a VR camera in a concert, when they can place a VR camera like front row center of a concert.
The next slide is safe for work.
Yes, it is safe for work. I made sure.
I mean, if it on Twitch, by the way, if it ain't safe for work, we can get banned. So always consider that.
Yep. So sporting events like a boxing match or a UFC match, like having a camera that's like right over or that goes around the cage or whatever it is. That's when it gets
you
crazy.
Could be like, well, I don't know how this would work exactly, but like be in the middle of the field during football.
Yeah.
Or on the sidelines watching it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I don't watch sports, but like I will be inclined to maybe do that shit.
Yep.
You know, in VR. Let's talk about the kid thing now, and let's have that as far separate from the porn as we can. So get that in now.
Yep. So what I'm excited about is when VR technology and VR camera technology gets cheap enough to where I can buy a VR camera for my house, and I can buy a couple of headsets or a headset for my family that live in Louisiana, and like give it to them, and then they can like hang out with my kid. Like Ethan
basically,
can play with his toys or do whatever. And they can walk around the room and like walk around and basically, obviously he won't be able to interact with them, but they can watch what he's doing, how he's doing it. Like they can see everything.
With the room scanning technology, they could, if he's on the ground, they could get on the ground and like look at his face, like see him like playing with his toys, whatever. Like that. Yeah, it's there's that also.
Think about people that are in nursing homes and things like that are like chained to a bed, or people that are paralyzed or things like that. It would give them the opportunity to go places that they've never gone.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't be using room tracking technology at that point.
Yeah, but they would still be able to experience and see what's going on around them.
Yeah.
So
it's like when
I was talking the ability to get one of these cameras on Mars.
Yeah,
that's
I was talking to my mother on the phone the other day. And it made me really sad. Like, I got this weird feeling. She was talking about some of our relatives went on, like, a cruise to, like, the Caribbean or some shit. And,
no, finish your story and then you can...
She said, she was like, yeah, no, it's really awesome. They're over there doing that. And, she's like, yeah, you know, I know I'll never be able to do that sort of thing. I'll never go there. And it was really sad hearing, like, someone being like, yeah, there's this place or this thing. And I'm never going to get to go do that. Like, that's a part of life I'll never experience. And I don't know why, but that made me, like, super fucking, like, just kind of bummed. I was like, yeah, that is a weird thing. But with this, like, next best thing, you know? Like, if I can't afford to fly there one day as a, hey, I remembered. I'm trying to be a good son, whatever. Sorry, I punched you in the face.
Here's a 4-hour-long video of somebody climbing, like, Mount Kilimanjaro. Like...
Oh, there's already like a fucking rock climbing game coming out for you. But anyways, like the applications for this are near endless. And that's what's really exciting. Not to mention, and this is kind of the last thing I have on this, eventually one of these days, we're gonna look at these and then be like, fucking, are these goofy ass fucking things? Because if you already look on the Vive already has ads I see on Facebook, for gloves.
Yeah.
That track every one of your
too.
digits and also your entire forearms. And some people that have tried the like early technology, the prototypes of those, have said seeing your forearms, especially, kind of rendered in real time, like in VR, is like one of the most insane things they've ever seen. So yeah, like I said, when we reach the glove stage, that's gonna be. Whew,
yep.
Fuck.
Gloves for masturbation, says Batman.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Good segue.
Yes, speaking of. Yes, so how about that prawn, baby?
So, I talked about Tilt Brush being the thing that really sold me on VR. It may have been the porn.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would not consider myself a porn connoisseur. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't frequently watch porn. It's not something that I don't watch porn, I would say a quarter of as much as you do, probably. I'm not against it. I think it's an awesome thing, and
probably about an eighth.
If that.
I mean,
so
less so these days. I'm
not judging about it at all. Like, whatever, man, whatever works for anybody, I'm totally down with. But damn, is porn amazing in VR. And the closest comparison that I can have to it is being in a strip club.
Yes.
If you've been in a strip club before and you've had a lap dance
neither
before,
one of us, pretty much I think we go to strip clubs, for bachelor parties or,
I wouldn't call us, regulars.
One, who the fuck can afford that? I can't. I mean, I did, and it fucking really put me in a hole.
Yeah.
I mean,
spent way too much.
$250 for a fucking bottle of Grey Goose? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, it was a bachelor party, but...
It was a good time.
Fuck.
We had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
But,
that was a great time.
If you have had a lap dance before in your life, I don't really need to describe it to you, but whoever it is tends to be naked, and they're dancing, and they're right in front of you, and they're on your lap, and they're sitting in front of you, and they're looking at you kind of from above.
A lot of times they talk in your ear or whatever, all that.
They do.
And you're wearing headphones,
whatever they got to do to get their money, they do. This is like that. So when you obviously have it's first person, it's a first POV. It's like you can see everything that's in front of you, and you had a couple of different ones. You had like a striptease kind of thing, and you had a couple of different things that.
I didn't have any striptease. There was either do you like I've got two right now. Do you like redheads or blondes?
Do you only have two? We downloaded some more. Did you get those?
I can't get the other ones working.
We need to
this TP Poker. I believe we've heard this.
May I ask you a question, please? Yes, please.
I have deja vu about this exact thing from Mr. TP Poker.
Maybe that's his way he hops into a room.
I miss Eddie Murphy. But
Eddie Murphy in a hot minute.
Of course you may ask us.
So yeah, go ahead and shoot. Obviously, it'll take a second to get to us. But yeah, it's like when you're in VR and you look up and you can look into their eyes, or you can look down and you can basically look and see their body in its fullest
penetration, whatever's happening.
Yeah, whatever's going on at the time.
It's porno. It's not mince words here.
It's not the thing that you're just gonna hang out and watch with your friends. But
it was the first time I've watched porn with friends in a long time.
Yeah.
Since
but it wasn't weird or awkward.
I was 11 years old.
Interesting experience. We were watching it with Tasty, and he was like, "All right, I have to take this off. It's doing its job a little too well."
But he's just that sort of guy where it's if something sexy happens on TV, be like, "Hey man, I gotta go home." And it's really? You're how old are you?
I think he even said
are you still hitting puberty?
Well, he's like, I didn't want to get a boner in front of you guys, and I can appreciate that. I don't want him to get a boner around.
I can certainly appreciate that.
So, and you can look around in the space that they're in. I was looking around at the guy's TV to see if they had any consoles on their entertainment center. Looking at the pictures he had on his walls,
and they're about to run out of toilet paper. You can look all over, it's crazy. Let's see. TV Poker says, thank you, and may I say you guys are fantastic. My question is would you go down on Betty White for $100 per minute? If yes, how many minutes straight could you go?
I would go until I physically passed out.
Yeah, dude, it's
Look,
here's the thing. I know she's old, but Betty White's very charming, so that's not an issue.
And she's a celebrity.
$100
now, if you were like a homeless
minute,
woman that no one knows or has never seen before that's the same age as Betty White, it would probably be less money.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'd give it a go. $100 a minute. That's.
Man, I'd give it.
I would at least last 8 minutes, I could get a Vive.
I'd give it a toot. But...
I'd last an HTC Vive amount of time. She's pretty old. I'd ride that one out.
Yeah, I'd do that at $100 a minute.
You don't have to pay me, sis Pebiv.
Pebiv, you're a good egg. You know that.
Cheers to you, sir.
The problem with but of course there are cons to this as well. Not cons, but it's not quite perfect yet. As far as the VR porn. Now, in the games, right, everything can be rendered to a certain fidelity. You know what I mean? With the VR porno, I don't know about at what resolution they would need it to be at, but it's a little bit blurry. You know what I mean? Not to mention, it's like you really have to look. It's all POV. It's all of it is basically a dude sitting in a chair, and then I guess that guy's just paid to be as completely still as possible, you know. But in order to look down, you don't have the FOV of if you were actually there yet. Yeah. You have to really look down to be able to look down. You have to really look up to be able to look up. All that will be worked out in time, of course. But pretty neat. It was the very first thing I did. Not because it was really the first thing I actually wanted to do. It was the first thing I did. Because that's the first thing you came over, and I was like, all right, I'm showing you this first. But ever since I've been talking about VR, I've always said that was going to be the first thing I'd do. I'm a man of my word. So you made
sure of it.
Yeah.
Hit a couple of comments. Quizzical says, if there was a risk she could die, that'd be a bit scary. That's true.
But would you get her inheritance?
What about the girl from the movie Precious with a yeast infection for $1,000 a minute?
No,
$1,000 a minute? No, I can't say that I would say yes, but I can say that I could be talked into it. I could be convinced to do it.
No way, man.
$1,000 a minute?
Not me.
For 1 minute, man, I got my Vive. Paid off.
Not me. Not.
I have a really, I have no problem.
That's way different.
$1,000.
She's not nearly as famous or charming as Betty White.
I give that old bitch what she wants until she crooked. VR porn, the hardware better be water resistant. Yeah, that's
the great thing about it. So, some of you guys are going to come over here and try this out. But I'll have you know, all right? You have to control it with your keyboard. Everything, the scene.
Stuff, yeah.
So you keep one hand 100% clean every time. Not to mention, if you pay $899 for something, you're not going to let any bodily fluids or jizz touch it. Yep. It's just not going to happen. So anyone that does come over and try this Vive, just know, it is... You think I want to come on my own face? No! I'd have been doing that years ago if I wanted. I don't need a Vive to do it, so it ain't happening.
One day there'll be a lady POV VR porn. Well, luckily that day has already
that actually already is.
Yeah, it exists. You can do it now.
I hear it's not that great though.
Well, we obviously aren't women, but as a man, we're comfortable with a woman doing whatever the fuck they want to us while we're not
taking control. You know what I mean?
Yes, women can be a little put off by a complete fucking stranger forcing themselves upon her. This is from a woman I know that's tried VR porn, and she was really, really, really weirded out by it, kind of cheeved out. So, not to say that it's going to be that way for every woman. Obviously, they're all different.
You said basically, it was the consensus that it felt like you were being groped or raped, which
both of those words that doesn't sound appealing.
But it's not for everybody though.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's just you'd have to try it out and see what you think. And
Y'all
for
should do Pictionary VR on stream if you get a way to stream it. We have a way to stream it, and we'll probably do some streaming. The problem is
we will
is that
stream
it's-
some of it next week.
It
I
takes-
will figure out.
It
a
obviously
way.
takes at least 2 people because one person has to read
Yep.
the comments and give those comments to the person wearing it. But also, like, it really doesn't sell how good it is because, like I said, everything kind of looks mediocre.
Yep. Sorry. It's kind of like if you're playing your 3DS and you see it in 3D and it's great, right? But everyone else is just seeing it 2D. It's kind of that sort of difference. Minus the fact that the 3D on the 3DS is fucking garbage comparatively. Hold on one second. I'll go take care of that.
Okay. Jake Dig Dug just got here, so we're gonna get her in. Maybe say hello to you guys. Yeah, it's nuts. It's weird. It's worth checking out. Yeah, I'd recommend it. If you guys have any questions or anything while he looks like she's not there yet, I told her to just come in. VR porn has a very distinctive audience. Yeah, I would agree with that. I gotta focus on some code now, but if you see Betty White, give her my number. We'll do generic GIF.
Well, we'll at-mention her. You know, I fucking at-mentioned Tom Hanks and Ed Norton. Neither one of those piece of shit showed up. I was playing
Lieutenant Dan Ice Cream.
I was playing Primal Fear. I'm sorry, Far Cry Primal, and I was like, "Hey, Ed Norton, remember Primal Fear? Maybe some Primal Far Cry?" Bitch didn't even show up.
He may have shown up, but he just may not have a Twitch account or may not have.
Yeah, he might be Batman for all
I've
I
talked
know.
to a few different people who watch our stream, but they don't have a Twitch account and they don't talk. Like somebody I've talked to said, "Yeah, I've watched your stream like 10 times. I don't talk to people well up." So,
well, then I'm gonna like to
to
think.
each their own.
Well, if one of you guys is Ed Norton, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to call you a piece of shit.
Black market VR porn will be implemented like snuff, bestiality. Ugh.
Well,
Ugh.
you probably have to go to the same place to get that you do any other porn, which is like Darknet or whatever. Still illegal, and you'll probably be busted like shit. So there you go.
Yep. Pictionary stream example. Yeah, you guys check that out. And I don't know, Quizzical, if you're in our Facebook group, but if you want to hop in, you can find that at facebook.com/groups/the Chainsaw Ape group. Tom Hanks is a hump. Okay. No, he isn't me. Says Bad Man, in referencing being one of you guys being Ed Norton, I'm assuming. Tom Hanks is the fucking man. I will second that. Tom Hanks is one of those actors that when he dies, I will shed a tear. And I may take that day off work to watch Big and Forrest Gump.
Okay, terrific.
Amazing thing that he does. TP Poker says, I have a serious question. So whenever you have that question...
Oh, I'm sure it is. All right. You ready to move on to the next slide? Like I said, potential for VR porn is tremendous. It's not locked. She's at the wrong place then.
I'm going to call her real quick if you want to...
Yeah, you do that. So, yes. Still some kinks that need to be worked out. Pun not intended. Yes. Oh, shit. Well, this is actually a slide that Major Tom made. And you see, the way we do things kind of here at Prep Ape, I'm just killing time for a second while Tommy, ushers Mrs. J. Dig Dug in here. And the way we do things at Prep Ape currently is, I stream most of the week because Tommy's got Babby and is unable to do so. Yet he focuses solely on Prep Ape, making these wonderful slides for us, coming up with topics. Now, as you guys know, I kind of prefer more improvisational things, so this whole Nintendo wants to make movies thing. I don't know what the fuck this is about. He's about to tell me. But, unfortunately, he's currently kind of off. So yeah, real quick, do you guys have any other any questions, anything before we move on to this particular topic about Nintendo's making movies? By the way, thanks for the follow, much appreciated. Let's see, the suspense is killing me, TPP Poker. What's the question? Well, if it's anything like the previous question, which was eating the pussy of the girl from Precious, and then eating Betty White out, I don't know. I mean, those are serious questions. And I've done my best to answer them as seriously as possible. But something. Oh, here we go. Let's see. How does a gamer get laid without having to waste money on taking girls on dates and just getting directly to the point and making sex with them? Every $60 I spend on taking some slut bag to the movies, that another game I could be adding to my collection. Please help. A gamer needs some sticky lovin' too. If you want my probably honest opinion on that, I'd probably just say Craigslist. Post exactly what you're looking for. You will eventually find it. Yeah. All right. So thank you. You are back.
She was on that side of the apartment complex.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she tried to walk in somebody's apartment. I thought that was pretty awesome. Any good comments that I missed? Talking about Tom Hanks, looks like. Of course.
Yes, let's see. Now that you have the Vive, have you started looking at PC upgrades? Mine is actually about as good as it gets right now. Mine is
that 1080 when it comes out.
Eh.
You just bought a video.
I got a
like
980 Ti. That'll keep me fine for a while.
Yeah.
Techaslade says Forrest Gump is great, but it's all about that road to perdition.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and go with Big, honestly.
So to move out of the virtual reality stuff and work towards the end of our show, we're getting semi close. Nintendo wants to make some.
We're edging right now. Is what he means to say.
They said that we're a couple of years away from getting Nintendo movies. So.
Dude, hold on. Do you need another beer or anything?
No, not yet. So what I wanted to talk about with Nintendo movies is, movies are getting made the right way lately. Like, Pixar is doing an amazing job with stuff like that, Animals Zootopia and Inside Out and stuff like that like transcends adults to children and like it works for all of them. And then, of course, Marvel's doing what they're doing. Like, the Star Wars movies are great. Like, movies are really solid right now. And I do not personally see how a Mario Brothers or a Legend of Zelda or a Metroid movie, a Pikmin movie, Animal Crossing.
I could see Metroid.
Yeah, but no, it's not a question of see if the movie could be done, because all of these could be done. Even a Zelda movie could be done. But can it be done right? Like Ratchet and Clank is basically...
Have you seen it?
I have, yeah.
Was it good?
I liked it, but it wasn't like... It was one of the best video game adaptations I'd ever seen. But it didn't have the...
Was it too much like a video game, though, you think?
Not necessarily.
No.
But it didn't have the... It did not feel like a a massive like blockbuster movie that's like everybody needs to see this movie. It had a lot of cool nods to PlayStation that I thought were pretty neat. Like there's one part where they're trying to figure out
what. Tell her about guest parking.
No.
After 10.
We'll have that conversation with her when she gets here. So there's a part where they're trying to figure out what Ratchet is because he's a Lombax, and they're like, let's see what he's.
Lombax?
It's a creature
is that a made up thing?
Yeah. They're like, let's go through our database to see, try to figure out what kind of creature he is. And they end up passing like Sly Cooper, and they pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they pass Daxter from Jack and Daxter, which is a ocelot.
An ocelot?
An ocelot.
Revolver ocelot.
It's not an ocelot. It's like something else.
All right.
Okay, it's an otzel.
Whatever
anyway,
it is.
Regardless, there's a bunch of little nods and stuff. But like,
sure.
Basically the point I'm getting at is I don't believe that they can do a Nintendo movie justice quite yet.
I'll tell you what I don't want to see.
Like, how could Mario Brothers work as a film?
Listen.
And be good. And have heart.
And have heart. Now, listen.
I'm serious. It's important that these movies have a heart. They need to have a soul to them.
Nah, I'm fucking with you, but yeah, I know what you mean. Here's the thing about a Mario movie, though. And this is why, like, I don't ever want a Mario movie. Ever. Not ever.
I want one. But one that's...
Because listen, when you play Mario 64, right? And you jump 3 times and you're, yeah, woohoo, woohoo, right? It sounds completely fucking cool. Sounds natural. When you hear that fucking dude do the Mario voice for real... Ooh, hello, thanks for playing my game. And he does like full sentences. It just sounds fucking weird.
I think that you're under the impression that he has to have that voice, and I don't necessarily think he does.
At this
I
point,
think
I mean,
that you can adapt Mario. I think you can make a Mario movie where he's not a complete like
Bob Hoskins? What?
No, it needs to be somewhere kind of in between those two. And like that movie, it's
so
just
would you have it?
movie.
Would you have it in the Mushroom Kingdom, or would you
Yes.
have it like he's an actual plumber? Because
to me,
as
Mario
I know, this
Brothers-
motherfucker does no plumbing.
To me, Mario Brothers needs to be an animated film.
Well, yeah, of course. No live. Metroid could be live action.
Yeah,
but
Zelda could be live action.
I would prefer it not to be.
I just don't feel like like I said, these movies need heart. They need to tell an actual story. They need to have like good transitions between scenes. They need to have the right director on board. Like the Lego movie, to me, that's an example of a movie that is based on a property that has tons of heart.
Is a fucking anomaly.
It is exactly, and Nintendo needs to make anomalies.
But you know what?
Films.
But here's the thing that Lego did though. It borrowed from so many different other IPs. It's like
that wasn't what it did well. What it did well was the writing and the voice.
Sure,
acting
but it was like, hey, we got
plot.
Batman, we got et cetera, all those things.
Yeah,
that's what it did differently, or that's how it kind of worked. It's like that's what it was built around. Because you can't just have a fucking movie about Legos instead of having like shit like Batman in it. But with this, I don't know how the fuck they would do it. Oh my god.
Jay Dig Dug's here. I'll hit the comments while we're working through all that. Easy to go in the bargain bin and watch Bob Hopkins and John Leguizamo battle Dennis Hopper with shit was amazing. That'd be more of a flick than a movie. Luigi does not jump as high because he's packing an 11-incher. Samuel L. Jackson for Mario's voice. Major Tom, what about a Splatoon movie? I would love a Splatoon movie if they can fucking do it right. If they can do it right, I'm totally down. If they can't, then don't even fuck with it.
Like, so the only one that I think I would like to see that's not animated would be Metroid.
Yeah.
I would love to see...
I think a Zelda movie could work.
By the way, who do you want to play Samus?
Probably a no-name. I mean...
Probably a no-name?
Actually, let's take
because you're not going to find a blonde 6'8". Yeah. You know Samus Aran's like almost 7
Well, that's what I'm saying.
tall.
They need to take creative liberties with these games.
Yeah, sure.
With these films.
Well, but here's the thing: if you could make Wolverine, who's supposed to be like 5'0", and have a 6'7" actor playing him, you could do the other way. But yeah, like imagine, like there's I can't even formulate this. How awesome a Metroid movie could be. Like a one person, like if you could make Tom Hanks' Castaway be epic because it's just one person.
Make it like Alien.
Her on, Samus, that sense of isolation plus all just the threats, that could be incredible. A Mario movie, I have Ronda Rousey as Samus. If she was a competent actor, and I don't know if she is, I could see that.
She's done a few things. I wouldn't necessarily say she's competent. I don't know if she could carry a movie where she's by herself. They need to get that kid from the Jungle Book that did an amazing
Angelina
job.
Jolie as Samus. I couldn't see her as a blonde though. That's kind of
Brienne
the thing.
from Game of Thrones for Samus. She's a huge bitch. No. Samus is like, not to take away from the actress who plays Brienne, but Samus is like gorgeous. They need to get like a model style actor. Maybe actually my choice is Blake Lively. Do you remember? I don't know if you watched that trailer for that movie where the girl is trying to get away from the sharks. That I believe Mr. Kurtzen posted.
I watched it and I said, "Fuck that movie."
Did you see the blonde main character?
Jaws.
She could do
yes,
it.
no, yeah.
Blake Lively's married to Ryan
I'm not seeing that
Reynolds.
movie though. Phobia of open water. Period. I ain't doing that shit.
Anka says Jodie Foster is Samus.
I mean, maybe
Uma Thurman is tall, but she's getting too old. She's way too old.
Yeah, no.
Maybe if they
that was the first thing I thought was like Uma Thurman, but. Yeah. She
1995 Uma Thurman, maybe.
Or even like back when Kill Bill, like that maybe. But Samus has like the look of someone like mid 20s, early 30s, like very like young,
Blake Lively.
So that's what Andy Dick is Samus. Hey, there we go.
Summer Rae from WWE for Samus.
All right, but yeah, like I said. Did they? So they said they want to make movies. Did they have any sort of?
No, just the president. I can't think of the new president's name. He said that it's something that they plan to do in the next 2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. Huh. All right. Well, we need to wrap. So let's get to our everyone's favorite segment here.
This is Blake Lively.
Oh yeah, she could totally be Samus.
Yeah.
So you have to look for it. I would also say Gwyneth Paltrow, maybe, but I don't know, or maybe a couple years ago, Gwyneth Paltrow. Jennifer Lawrence. I could see that.
I could see Jennifer Lawrence doing it.
Only thing with Jennifer Lawrence is she's got a bit of a rounder face, and Samus like has very like sharp, defined features. But I mean, you're not gonna find Samus Aran like just perfect reconstruction of. It's not gonna happen. But yeah. Anyways, come on, Dirk Diggle. Oh God,
Not
surprised
that
Adify didn't come up and start diggling in tonight. Okay, let's see.
Basically, to close out that segment, like, yeah, they could do movies, but man, they better really fucking do it right.
And I will,
Anything else?
I'll do the honors tonight. No, I don't think so on that one.
All right.
So we move on. Oh, shit. We gotta talk about this, too. I forgot.
One small step for Kojima.
All right,
Let's
cut the shit and be, like, really square. We're running over time. I don't have a lot to say about this. I don't know if this is going to be part of one of his games, if it's just his mascot, because he kind of said, like, he wants new technology and to move forward with it.
He did say that that's what he wants to be in his game, though.
Then I don't know how I feel about that.
And it's a third-person
Okay, terrific.
shooter. People that are comfortable with Uncharted and Division would be comfortable with something like this. I
by the
think
way,
we should
follow.
hold this because we're running a bit long.
Yeah, let's hold it. We'll table it till next week, and we'll revisit this. And yes,
I'll take a couple of minutes on this because I do want to talk about
All
this.
right.
So, someone who worked on PT for Konami was recently hired.
I'll be right back.
Was recently hired to work on the next Resident Evil iteration. They also said a couple of months ago that they wanted to work on a Resident Evil game. They wanted to do something with VR. So I had this weird speculation that the next Resident Evil game may actually be a virtual reality game. So I'm not 100% sure if they're going to go that route, but basically, they said that, they've been testing and playing around with VR. They said that the next Resident Evil is going to go back to its roots. And they just hired someone who was working on PT before it got canceled to work on Resident Evil. So I have this speculation that the next Resident Evil may be a virtual reality game.
Who said this? Like, is this NeoGAF rumor sort of thing?
Yes.
Sorry,
there are three things that were said, and based on those three things, there's speculation. The three things that were said, they want to work on something for VR. They want to reboot. They want to reboot Resident Evil. And they hired someone who was working on PT. Those are the three facts. And based on those three facts, speculation...
Facts that they want to reboot Resident Evil?
Yes, that they will be rebooting Resident Evil.
Thank God.
That was stated like 3 or 4 days ago.
Because if you take the current, like how insane it's gotten now, like with the end of Revelations 2, like, all right, so you had Wesker, and you had Wesker's son. Now you have Wesker's, sister?
I don't fuck.
Third niece twice removed? Like, restart, please. Just, it's gotten too messy. Fucking let's cut the shit and start over again. Plus, Umbrella isn't even a company anymore. Isn't even around anymore in the current iteration. You need Umbrella. You fucking gotta have it.
So my question is, would you eat a Jill sandwich in VR?
Baby, I'll eat a Jill sandwich anywhere.
Cool.
You know me, right? I'd eat a Barry Burton sandwich.
Texas says, I think old Tom is spot on about VR Resident Evil. I'm going to miss third person, but I'll give it a shot. And then Abedab says, man, if you get the old school horror tension in VR, shut it down. Take my money. Outlast would be so much better for VR. It's going to be fucking terrifying. I know that.
By the way, let's see. TP Poker said, I'd like to eat Blake Lively in her nether regions. Hey, man, want to be there? And you guys are the best. Why, thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Poker.
Yeah. So, no, just Jill sandwich.
Yeah.
Dude, those Barry fucking Burton's lines, just the way he enunciates words it's so memorable to me. Like because it's not, when he says it's not Jill, it's Jill sandwich. It's like almost 2 syllables. And I hope they use the original Barry Burton voice actor. Which, no one knows who that is, actually. Do you know he was credited? Everyone who did the voices for that in the original one, right, were credited by first name basis. They were just people. Jill in the FMVs for the original one was actually just a high school girl in Japan that happened to be white, so they, like, grabbed her. Yeah, like,
Cool.
nobody knows who they were or who they are.
That's
so.
some whitewashing right there.
Man.
It's
Let's see. But all right, let's move on to our everyone's favorite segment, our Amazon gift card giveaway, which will wrap us up here. Before we do, 2 more comments. I'm looking forward to a Fallout style FPS/RPG in VR. Yes.
Need some Bethesda VR.
Also, Mr. Pebiv, there's a lot of games that are already being kind of retroactively reconverted to VR, which I'm currently looking into how to do that exactly. Which I suppose we'll find out here soon. All right, but let's move on to Win Stuff Money, baby. And I'll do the honors today.
Please
How
do.
about that.
You want me to explain the rules?
Sure, you explain the rules, and I'll read the synopses.
Win Stuff Money is our weekly $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. How it works is we take this book here, 1001 Games You Should Play Before You Die. We find a neat little passage in here.
Wait a minute. If you're going to buy this book, please do heed this warning. Yeah, not all 1001 games should you play. Furlong Racing is in here. And nobody needs to play some shitty... Do you want to be a jockey? No. Who the fuck wants to be a horse jockey? Fuck that. What the fuck is a furlong anyways?
I don't know.
Anyways, continue. I'm sorry.
So, 1001 Games You Should Play Before You Die. What we do is we find an entry here. We read out this entry. It's generally the synopsis of the game. We omit any words that may be too revealing, whether it's the main character's name or the title of the game, obviously. If the developer gives it away too easily, if the year it came out gives it away too easily, we omit that kind of stuff. So, we read out the synopsis, and the first person to respond with the correct title gets the $25 gift card. Couple of caveats. Number 1, it's our judgment to say if you get it correct. Meaning, if you misspell it.
Let's give an example. Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Somebody once said, simply by autocorrect mistake, Sons of Library.
Yep.
And the next person got it. There was a little bit of a dispute on who should have won it. Look, if we know that you knew what it was, it's to our discretion.
Yep. Also, you have to get the exact game. So, if it's a game in a series, if we're talking about Mario Brothers 3...
It's a franchise.
And you say Super Mario Brothers 2, you're not going to get it. So, you have to say the title of the game. Again, we're going to be able to make judgment calls on our end if we feel it's one way or another. But
I think all of you fellas... Like I said, it's up to our discretion, but I think everyone will consider our decisions fair.
Yep.
All right, with no further ado...
Pocket Card Jockey is life. I hear it's amazing, by the way.
Here we go, fellas. Tommy, when somebody gets it, you know to transition
I'll do
to the
the
next
honors.
line. All right, here we go. Blank is now so established that it seems almost destined to have come about. As if all the social RPGs that came before would inevitably produce blank... heady mix of loot, lore, and leveling. But that's a notion that would discount the hard work and imagination that Blank has put into its development, both before its release in late Blank and since, and with the constant improvements, tweaks, and additions to its world. To non-players, it appears simplistic, mechanical battling between paper-thin avatars and a now crudely realized and petrified virtual...
We have ourselves a winner.
Alrighty, well. A little bit easy tonight, I suppose, but, hey man, want to be there.
It's true.
See, it was shit like wizardry and might and magic that I thought would happen. Especially in the part where it says, like, paper-thin avatars and all that goofy horse shit.
Yeah.
I was like, when I read that, I was thinking, like, it sounds more like fucking Dragon Age.
Yeah.
This description. But yeah.
Congratulations, Zariel.
All right, Zariella, I don't know if you've won before. I think you have. But if not, regardless, send us your email either through, you can send it through Twitter, you can send it through instant message here on Twitch. I'll be checking all of them tonight, and this is your night, by the way.
Yep.
So Tommy will get that sent over to you. I'll make sure of it.
Let us
we ain't
know.
gonna forget like Bad Man.
Hey, Want to be there.
Hey, man, want to be there.
So yeah, make sure you send us your email address. If you know me on Facebook or anything like that, just send it to me through there. Otherwise, send it through us through Twitter or Twitch or whatever it is, and we'll get that to you as soon as
you look at our panels, there's all of our contact information. So yeah, you know how to get it to us.
Where the hell is Idifice, this Texas boy? We missed a couple of nights, and he just abandoned us.
Yeah, we took 2 days off, and
he didn't want to be there.
He said, "Listen, man, fuck those guys, man. If they can't stay dedicated, man." And it really hurt me, but it's all right.
Thank you. Congratulations.
So let me wipe a tear away from my eye. R.I.P. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's gone and Idifice. Fuck, man.
He finished all the movies, and now he's moving on.
Wasn't that kind of weird coincidence? How there was a guy named Eddie Murphy did 7-Eleven who chose that name for no real reason. Who had never seen any Eddie Murphy movies and went through every single one.
Yep.
And he used to come in every day and talk about the last one he'd saw.
Oh, I just watched Vampire
give his idea
in Brooklyn.
on it. And then right when it ended, he was like, "Hey man, I gotta quit Twitch for a while and move in and this and this."
Yeah.
Eh.
He's gonna come back as like Nicolas Cage or something.
There's been a couple fucking times where I thought he's been back under a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to party with Nicolas Cage?
It was something like very similar to that. Or like, just got done watching Bowfinger or Dr. Dolittle 2. And it was like, are you fucking... Don't take this the wrong way. You're not Eddie Murphy did 7-Eleven, are you? And they're like, no. Okay. All right, well, let's move on to our final segment here, which is more of a closer, I guess. Ask the Apes.
That's all, folks.
If you guys have anything you want to talk about, doesn't matter what, you have any questions, whatever you got.
If there were any thoughts that you missed on VR that you're interested in,
I just hope you didn't think it sucked. Yeah, this is the part where just anything you guys might want to know.
I do want to take a moment to plug our Facebook group, facebook.com/group/the Chainsaw 8 group.
Thanks to Twitch's ability to kind of retroactively do chat, right? It was posted up above earlier, so you guys can scroll up and get it. And come in here and how was the Vive setup? Pain in the ass,
guys.
Because I kind of have too much shit in here, too many electronics. But it did eventually. It took about 3 hours, and out of that 3 hours, I would say about an hour and a half of it was waiting for orders from Amazon Now to get me some computer components that I needed. But you know what? You do it once, and then it's fucking good. After you do it, it's kind of like with a fleshlight, right? But it's the opposite of that. Like with a fleshlight, like you gotta pull it out, you gotta clean it afterwards and all that, and it's a pain in the ass, and you don't use it that much because just who has time for that shit, right?
Not this guy.
Time is money. It's the initial investment of setting it up, but to play it, literally, you just take the two things, put on the headset, pop it on, it's it. So a little bit of time investment, but simple as fuck after that. Definitely worth it.
Ankin wants to know when would be a good time to come hang out and try it.
Pretty much any time, man.
I think he's looking for something a little bit more specific. So,
all right, I'll say this. So of course we stream Monday and Tuesday from about anywhere from 6:30 to 9. Wednesday is like my programming night, but you can come over and hang out during that. It's we're not doing anything super serious, so Wednesday night's free. Thursday is Prep Ape, so before or after Prep Ape. Friday, I'll be streaming on Fridays as we do, but hey, you can always come stream with me, and you can, before or after that. Saturday, Sunday, I mean, fuck, man, it's not, I'm pretty wide open.
Yep.
So, but just, you're in the Facebook group, you know how to contact us. We'll work out a time.
Tex Boy says, Major Tom, were you really sick, or was it just a case of the Mondays? No, neither of us were sick.
It was both. It was a case of the Mondays, big
neither
time.
of us just felt like streaming Monday night.
Like,
no real reason.
Pretty much was like falling asleep. Like at
we were going to do Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I brought the.
We will do that next Monday.
I brought the Wii U over, had it in the bag already, and I was like, "You feel like doing this tonight? Because I really don't feel like doing it. I'm down to hang out. We can chill."
If you visit, you better not have sensitive ribs. You know what I'm talking about. Give me them ribs, you. Give me them fucking. Give me the ribs. Give me the ribs.
Get out of my fucking ribs.
Get out of my ribs. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap, fellas. Well, who better to, go ahead and play us out then our number one fan, that is, of course, Big Tyrone.
I'm Major Tom.
Oh, by the way, one last thing.
Ooh.
What's the first old school game you played in virtual desktop? Donkey Kong Country 3.
Donkey Kong Country 2!
Well, then,
I played 2.
That was you.
He played 3. He didn't care about you.
Thoughts on Supergirl heading to CW4 part crossover?
Very exciting.
I don't know. I'm not up to speed on all that.
Very exciting.
But
Monday night Supergirl, Tuesday night Flash, Wednesday night Arrow, Thursday night Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh wait, it's not a crossover.
no peanut gallery.
A crossover will happen. We'll talk later, VKP.
All right, boys.
I'm Major Tom.
Moving on to DKP. Big Tyrone, take it away.
I know what all of you are thinking. You're thinking, wow, these guys are great. I want to see them every chance I can get. If only I knew where to find them. Well, I have great news. You can follow them right here on Twitch. Legend has it that they are also on YouTube and Twitter, all at Chainsaw Ape. Check out the Twitch panels for links, the streaming schedule, and also don't forget to tune in every
Thursday night at 8:30
p.m. Central Standard Time for Preparation Ape, the live gaming talk show / podcast for your chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card. It's a real pizza, mates. All hail DKP! Zod is a beta, and Donkey Kong Country 3 is the best Donkey Kong country. I still have some time to kill here. I paid for it after all. This is the Chainsaw Ape Show. It's not the Ape Chainsaw Ape Show. This is my favorite show, and it's not my show. But seriously, folks, we've had a lot of laughs tonight. But let us not forget what is important here. It's never ogre. Chainsaw Ape is love. Chainsaw Ape is life. Well, until next time, my name is Major Tom. P.S. At ID57, go forge your mother. Man! PPS and Jamzo, your accents suck.